Hello, I would like to begin by asking, how many languages do you speak? 2, 3, 4, or maybe you're just thinking of picking up a foreign language to learn. In any case, learning languages is beneficial for you. Let me tell you, it helps you develop emotional intelligence, makes you a multitasker, leads you to an exciting new way of life, and prepares you for a better future. In this talk, I would like to share my story of learning to speak 5 languages and the discoveries I made along the way of studying each of them. I was born in Russia, so my mother tongue is Russian, but in a region where I lived called Tatarstan, there were 2 official languages, Russian and Tatar, and we had to learn both of them from childhood. Tatar was like a foreign language for me because in my family we never spoke it, and I was too little to appreciate the importance of learning a second language. However, looking back, I understand how lucky I was. Language is not just a set of grammar rules and vocabulary, it's also culture. We read Tatar poets and writers, we studied Tatar history and traditions, and even learned the Tatar national dance. I grew up with strong awareness that there are people with different cultural backgrounds. And this exposure to multiculturalism from childhood nurtured my cultural openness and prepared me for a country where I would spend the whole 11 years of my life, China. And as I talk about cultural openness, let's think why it can be useful for you to work on it too. First, it helps you build relationships with people. It makes you better at communicating, even with the people of your own culture, thus improving your soft skills and developing your emotional intelligence that is so sought after in the workplaces now and will be even more in demand in the future. Learning a second language from childhood also makes you less prone to biases and prejudices about another culture. And in general, it makes your life a little bit more exciting when you're open to engage with people of different cultural backgrounds. That's something that happened to me thanks to learning Tatar along with my native language in my childhood. Tatar was not my language of choice, but English was. I have always been passionate about this language, pretty much since my first English classes at school. English is a very powerful language. Its power lies in the fact that if you master it, you can have access to the world's best science, media, entertainment, and other resources. And if you have this accurate and diversified information, you can make better life decisions. Also, I found out when I speak English, I feel a little bit more self-confident. Because with every language you speak comes a different you. Each language adds to your personality or accentuates some traits in it. That's also one of the beautiful aspects of learning a foreign language. Okay, but what if I say that not only the goal of learning a language is important, but also the process of learning it? Did you know that learning a language helps to develop such traits as patience and concentration? Here comes my story of learning Chinese. My first interaction with Chinese happened in 2007 at the university in Russia. I chose it out of curiosity. Now, so many years passed since I wrote my first Chinese character. Apart from upgrading my Chinese skills, I realized that the process of learning it was no less important than the final results. One of my friends many years ago told me that he was preparing to send his son to China to study Chinese for a year or so. His idea was that the efforts his son would put into study Chinese would make him more patient and stress resilient. Soon enough, I learned he was right. When I arrived in Beijing in 2011 to continue my Chinese studies, I literally locked myself away from all the fun that was not related to study. As a result, it helped me to train such traits as patience and concentration. Chinese is not a language you will master overnight. It takes literally years and years of practice. Thus, it trains your perseverance too, your ability to stay focused on your long-term goal. So learning Chinese for me turned out to be a practical and smart decision. Okay, we just talked about the serious part of learning languages. But what if you can learn a language just for fun, as a hobby? In 2013, I found out I have a lot of free time for my work, and I was looking for a fun and productive way to spend this time. And I didn't find a better solution rather than go and start learning Spanish. So I began attending Spanish classes every morning. And if you heard how it sounds, it is truly a language of passion. If Russian, for example, is very melodic and calm, but you can't speak Spanish without being expressive. And I didn't pursue any particular goal when I just started learning it. I just enjoyed the process. And I found out every time I attended Spanish classes or interacted with Spanish-speaking people, it brought new optimism and a new spark in my life. So learning languages can be a good way to arrange your pastime. And the language that I'm currently studying is French. Since it's my 5th foreign language, I discovered I don't need instructors anymore. I can simply rely on self-study because I already know my strong and weak points of learning a language. Plus, there are lots of similarities between French, English, and Spanish in terms of grammar and vocabulary. So learning French showed me that the more languages you speak, the easier it gets for you to learn a new one. But what I just said is all based on my personal experience and observations. However, scientific research also proves the benefits of being fluent in many languages. A study by Thomas Beck from Edinburgh School of Philosophy, Psychology and Language Sciences tested 853 participants in 1947 when they were 11 years old, and then retested them in 2008 and 2010. It showed that multilinguals perform better at attention tests and have stronger concentration. Another finding was made in a series of experiments on more than 300 participants from the US and South Korea. Conclusion: thinking in a second language can reduce misleading biases that influence how risks and benefits are perceived. For example, it makes sense to think in a foreign language when you make a complex decision to avoid a decision made on emotions. And maybe one of the most fascinating findings revealed that learning foreign languages can physically alter your brain. Multilinguals have denser gray matter in their brain's language centers, and our brain's language centers are flexible. So speaking foreign languages can help you develop new areas of your mind and strengthen your brain's ability to focus, process information, and make you better at multitasking. To sum up, what do we have in the end? Learning languages helps you manage relationships with people, makes you more patient, stress resilient, brings new emotions and experiences into your life, and much more. To put it simply, you become a better human being. Learning languages teaches you to think before you speak, and our world is so much in need of people who can form unbiased opinions and make decisions out of common sense and empathy. A change starts from you, from each individual. And what you do today defines your future, and even the future of people around you. To close my speech, I would like you to think, what are you doing today to become a better you? What drives you closer to the future you want? And while you're thinking over these questions, I want to suggest, maybe picking up a new language today is something you will thank yourself for in the future.